life was pretty typical of your Richmond suburban teenage, just rebellious life. I was very independent, and my mom didn't quite know how to handle me because it was my way or the highway. My whole focus was getting out of Dodge, out of my parents' house, out of high school, and to live life the way I wanted to live it because I knew better than everyone else. I did the typical teenager stuff, drinking, smoking, marijuana. I would just sneak out, and I used the fire ladder, not very smart because it was really loud. Hang out with my friends, get into trouble, didn't really pay attention to my parents. I didn't really respect them. One of the ways that I wanted to prove that I was an adult and I knew what I was doing was I got married at age 20. He would just sit at home on his Xbox, just smoking weed all day. We fought all the time about money because he wasn't making any, and I had 3 jobs. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not supporting you. I'm not your mom. I believe God knew that he kind of needed to throw an atomic bomb into my life for me to wake up and realize that what I was doing wasn't working. So not only was I separating from my husband at the age of 21, I had just been laid off from my job, which was one of the biggest things I was putting my faith in because it was how I made my money, how I wasn't going into, poverty and debt and, well, I was already in debt, but deeper debt. And everything was falling apart. Everything that I had built was failing me, and I felt like a failure. I found a new job, and I was living with my parents, which is always fun. As an adult, you feel great. Like, wow, okay, this was the one place I was trying to escape from. Well, I was going through the motions, complaining about money like usual, and my coworker, who was in the cubicle right next to me, asked me if I ever looked for ways to make extra money. Absolutely. And he was like, well, I can't talk about it here, so I'll call you after work. So I'm like, okay, this dude's trying to sell drugs with me. It'll be great. I'll be able to get out of my credit card and also have a good supply at the same time. But luckily, it was a legal adventure. He presented me with a business opportunity, which I grabbed with both hands. The whole goal is everybody makes money and everything's great. So what was wonderful about that is that they had a whole leadership development segment of their business and things that really just taught me how to become, an adult, and basically to help me grow my business. But it didn't really help me grow my business, it more helped me grow as a person. Having a team, having a group of people who have fun and don't need to get drunk or get high to have fun was just completely new to me. And one of the main leaders in this group came out on stage and gave his testimony. And it struck me because, I've never seen anyone who was like me able to succeed at all. I always felt like a failure. So when he was talking about Jesus, all of the things that I learned in church before made sense to me. I talked to my coach the entire way home. I just could not stop processing what I had just experienced. When you're in the presence of the Holy Spirit, you know it. It was like I was on fire. I believe the difference between my life when I was a teen in early 20s versus now was that I found that someone cared that I existed and that God showed me that I mattered. I never felt like I mattered. And the fact that this Creator, this Holy Spirit, this thing I can't explain is taking the time out of running the entire world in the universe to show me there's more for you. This is what I want for you. This is how much I love you. And that, yeah, you fail a lot, but I know that. And, you know, in your weakness, I'm made strong. And what you thought was there to harm you is what I'm using to get you to a place where you're in this full blessing. You are in this place that you can help people. What I'm trying to say is, you know, I was a dumb kid, and God turned that unintelligent being that has no talent in anything that I felt at the time, and could make it so I do have worth, I do have abilities, and that changed my life. Like, I could help someone by giving them a word of wisdom that isn't from me, because I'm not smart enough to know this stuff. But the fact that I allow God to use me to help someone else. You know, it's like I don't know these words that are coming out of my mouth, but through the sermons and through all the teachings, I guess I went from being really selfish to unselfish, because, you know, all I really wanted was to help people find what I found, and to know that there's more than you can even imagine through Jesus Christ. My name is Joy, and I failed my way to Jesus.